not going to do it. So that's what I'm doing.
Couldn't, if I may.
So why would you? I don't fully comprehend why you'd want to add plastic to anything that you don't need to have plastic to.
And from TPC Wisconsin, where he has participated. Is this the Pro-Am? Because Lord knows you're not in the celebrity foursome.
No, I'm not in the celebrity foursome, as still hurts. But I'm in a Pro-Am today, and I think I might be in a. I didn't even know there was a Pro-Am on Monday. I got a nice late invite. Now I'm out here at the course. It's at a new course at TPC Wisconsin. It looks fantastic. Can we give it up, Nate Pocrast, tournament direct? What a job he does.
He must be standing nearby.
He is. He's standing right behind him, making sure I get. I want to make sure I get 4 tickets this year and not 2 to that concert. So I'm being extra.
Nice to yeah. We like
not
Nate.
The number that I was looking for, Nate. Okay, so we'll see how we'll work that the rest of the week.
You can have my 2 tickets. Tell Nate I want 2, and then you take.
I'll make sure he knows
because I've never been to a concert for that. That is Mark Tauscher. All right, if I may, on the plastic front, I don't have a problem with your policy. I think it's very. It's fair and smart, actually. What about putting the cover on it while you're driving and then taking the cover off and drinking without it once you arrive at your location? Then you're not actually drinking your beverage through the plastic, which I know is what your issue is.
Yeah, there's a couple things. I think that's something that I could look at. I'm not sitting here saying it's perfect, so I will take a look at that. It is dumb. I didn't disagree with Hunter at the time, but in Hunter's case, I only had like about a half a cup, so there was no spillage issues. And I had done the whole show with it over. And I don't know what exactly had happened. So
he did blame you, which I thought was it was a strategy. I don't know if it was a good one.
I put a lid on my stuff. I've got a water bottle right here, lid on it.
Not perfect.
Great for you.
Good for the water bottle.
Nothing dripping. It's great because it's 2025 and I'm an adult and I can protect my drinks.
Are you an adult?
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of adults, Jesse is doing a very adult thing today. He is, right now he's a prospective juror. We do not know if he will in fact be a juror. But can we agree that he is now going to do everything he can to get on a case?
Yeah, he is the weirdest cat when it comes to that. Like we know he doesn't. We know he's always finding ways, right? That's kind of how he does his business. And this is something that civic-minded people you should do. So I'm not trying to poo-poo that, but there's nobody ever that would prefer to be on. Like if the O.J. Simpson trial was in play, and you'd have to miss 18 months of work. I think Jesse would love to have been a jury on that trial because he would have missed all that, and he gets in the spotlight. Like I think that would be perfection for him.
Am I crazy? You still get your paycheck?
No, you have to take leave. You get paid a much lesser amount to be on a jury. I think that's how that works, right?
Well, yeah, no wonder you got to write a book then if you're on one of those celebrity juries. I don't know how it works. I have been selected twice, and then neither time did I ever have to even report to the courthouse. I got a call the night before saying you were not needed.
Okay.
But Jesse got a call saying he had a report this morning, and he has. He sent us a picture of him with his
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Jury name tag.
Way too many updates from him. Like I can't get him to respond to a text on a show topic, but he goes on jury duty and it's like he's doing a documentary. Okay, Jesse, good luck. I hope you make it. I
good
you
luck.
Want to. And what is a normal jury? 2 days? Is that kind of what normal jury
I don't know.
Are?
I don't know. Now I will tell you that my mentor Tom Mulhern, who I miss very much, was on a jury in Madison. It was like an armed robbery trial, and I remember him telling the story after it was over. He was elected foreman of the jury, and he was amazed that it was a very clear-cut case. Like it was pretty obvious, at least to him. Is a pretty smart guy, that the person was guilty, and yet half the jury, I don't know. And so the deliberations take quite a while to.
Well, you have to listen. You've seen what is the big jury movie? 12 Angry Men, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You need to have some skepticism. I don't want everybody going in there. He's got. No, I want skepticism. I want debate, and I want you to come to a good, solid decision. So no, I'm on board with that. I think you should have skepticism.
So you, to be clear, you are not. You do not have any jury duty experience.
I don't have any interest in doing it either.
Yeah, I don't either. I'll pass.
Okay.
But Jesse's very excited.
But I'll say this: if I was, I'd be really good at it. I think I would be a perfect jury. I think I'd actually maybe one of the more. I would be really good at being on a jury.
What makes you say that?
Because I'm going to listen to both sides. As we see on this show, I am not rigid guy. Like, I am someone, you give me good information, I will listen, and I'm not going to, like, completely whoop, but I'll be very open and say, let's dig more into this. Let's find some more information out. Okay. And then potentially, I'm somebody, I just think I'd be a very impartial, good juror. And I think I'd do a very thorough job.
So if you thought that there was incontrovertible, clear evidence that the person committed the crime.
They gone. Yeah, no, they gone.
So you would not be creating skepticism,
no,
like the quarterback on Rogan.
Oh yeah, I mean you could get into all that. I am going to look at, jury number 2 was a movie out on Netflix I watched. There's a Runaway Jury. There's some juries. Jurors are interesting folks.
Is that a John Grisham novel, Runaway Jury, that became a movie?
I don't know, but I know it was a movie. I am open. I would be open-minded enough and inquisitive enough, and at some point decisive enough, I think. And those are your 3 things. That's your 3 keys to being a good juror.
All right, so you might make a good juror, but on Friday you were out at University Ridge with your former quarterback at the University of Wisconsin.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Brooks Bollinger. Did you, in fact, play with Brooks Bollinger?
So it was a unique format. You had 6 people on a hole, which normally, I know you don't golf, but 4. Usually it's in a foursome, and you have 4 people playing. Here we did scrambles, teams of 3. So there was Brooks and 2 dudes, Old T and 2 dudes, and we played. And Brooksy had a +1 handicap with him, which means he's better than par. He was really good. And Brooks, to his credit, Brooks was really good as well. But his kid, Miles, ended up taking first place in the entire thing. Yeah, Miles was a celebrity. Somebody dropped out, and they ended up winning the whole dang thing. We were really average. We were about as average a group as you could have probably been. We finished almost dead middle of the pack.
Wait, so you were a celebrity, and Brooks was a celebrity,
and Miles was a celebrity,
and someone didn't come, and so you show up for your group, and you've got Miles Bollinger, and at first you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Brooks Bollinger's son, that's not a celebrity, and then you go and you win the whole dang thing. That's quite the pendulum swing.
No, I think most people. You get to these events, I think if you want to have some stories. Miles was, as you saw with him being on air, good little storyteller.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that he's a great stick and he's probably right around scratch also. I love, being out with people, but I think most people would prefer after a couple of holes, just give me somebody that's really good at golf.
So wait a minute, that's not you.
No, I'm fine at golf. I chipped in and did my part. Took me a while to warm up. As I'm aging, I'm not as long as I used to be. And I warmed up about probably 10 or 11 holes in.
10 or 11. All right.
What's so funny about that?
That's what you said. It took you a little while to warm up. I didn't realize it was going to be 10 or 11 holes before you really got cooking, though. I was thinking maybe 4 or 5.
Oh, it was 10 or 11.
So wait a minute. So then today is a pro-am.
Yeah.
Are you paired with Tung Chai Jaidi?
I don't know who we're paired with. This is one of our great partners at WTMJ, Annex Wealth Management, their team invited me out, so I will be playing. It's their event today. They kind of own the whole space today, so that's who so I have no clue who I'll be playing with, but it'll be fun. I'll have a good time.
Wow. All right. Well, you have been a celebrity. This time the pro will be the celebrity. Speaking of celebrities, my social media has a lot of Gina Della in it lately. She's talking not just about Windows these days, but you're going to talk about Windows.
I am. It's a new month. New read.
I forgot.
New excitement. And you know what? It is time. As Kevin Green said to Clay Matthews, it is time to upgrade your windows or doors, but you don't want to spend a fortune? Yeah, Pella is the best in the industry and has a product line for every budget. And right now, you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. So if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now, and you can still wait to make payments. That's up to 2 years. Certain restrictions do apply. This offer ends on June 30th. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
More with Tausch live from TPC, Wisconsin, where we will be again on Friday for the AmFam Championship. More next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Siding Unlimited recently installed 20 brand new amazing energy efficient windows. Our Siding Unlimited crew removed the old windows, inspected the wall for wood rot, installed the new beautiful windows, and cleaned up behind ourselves. It was easy to get started. The homeowner met us at our amazing showroom on 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. Trust me, our showroom is a must-see. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Bandana? Check. Boots? Check. Gloves? Check. As a motorcycle rider in Wisconsin, you may go to great lengths to protect your image. Just be sure you're protecting yourself, too. Wear a Department of Transportation-approved helmet. Perform safety checks on your motorcycle. Know the traffic laws and don't take risks. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov. Wisconsin DOT.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better buying experience? Well, that's the thing. You get to define it. It is the experience that is customized to you. What experience do you want at a car dealership? They can be your trusted friend or your trusted expert. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Silverado, Colorado, Blazer, Trailblazer, remember, you're only minutes away from a better buying experience. And that's at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
The ESPN Madison Open presented by Coors Light is back. On Monday, August 4th, the ESPN Madison crew is packing their bags and teeing off at TPC, Wisconsin for a day on the links. This year's Open is benefiting Mentoring Positives, a nonprofit based right here in Madison dedicated to uplifting youth and families through mentoring, athletics, and youth entrepreneurship. The ESPN Madison Open is also brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Starion Bank, Celebrations Entertainment, The Bogey Factory, Bruner Realty, and Hush Blackwell.
Hey, want to make your next meal a little less, ordinary? Well, head to Quick Trip. Hey, we are so back serving up our legendary No Ordinary Chicken. Yeah, your dinner is hand-breaded, fried to perfection, ready to eat for tonight's dinner. Or you can buy it cold, sealed fresh for tomorrow's lunch. You know, we love to make life easier for you. This isn't just any chicken. It's Quick Trip's No Ordinary Chicken. Stop in your local Quick Trip today and taste the difference.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Mark Tauscher, and if you know me, you know I love our home teams like the Brewers and UW Credit Union. And now, when you open a rewards checking account at any UW Credit Union branch by June 6th, you get 2 Brewers tickets for an upcoming game. Plus, enjoy all the best rewards like early payday and cash back on credit card purchases. Visit any UW Credit Union branch or uwcu.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Bo here from Ridgetop Exteriors. Southern Wisconsin got hit hard with hail recently. If your home took a beating, now's the time to take action. We've been delivering top quality roofing, siding, and window services locally for over 23 years. With free damage assessments and insurance experts on staff, we've been your licensed, local, and trusted contractor since day one. Don't wait until small damage becomes a big problem. Turn to Ridgetop Exteriors today. RidgetopExteriors.com. That's RidgetopExteriors.com.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
We're on the Badgers.
The schedule, as we all know, it's very challenging, daunting, however you want to describe it.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
He wants guys who want to jump at the opportunity to play against a schedule like that.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Tausch continues from TPC, Wisconsin. We'll be there together for the AmFam Championship on Friday. Hunter Vaughn is in as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better for Jesse, who is angling for jury duty. He is giving us updates live from the courthouse, which I'm not even sure. Is that legal?
I don't think it should be. Like, if you should be putting your effort and attention into that. But how many people that get signed up for jury duty are happy about it? And then how many people are angling to be a foreman? It's got to be less than 10%, right?
I would think so, and I feel like we had a lawyer text in who said that the first person that they want to get rid of when they're doing the voir dire to pick juries is someone who's super eager to be on a jury.
Yeah, I'd smell Jesse from a mile away and boot him out my jury pool if I was an attorney. No doubt about it.
Why would you do that other than his
He's
eagerness?
an overeager beaver. He's an overeager beaver, and he wants – I think there's a fine line because I think in most jobs, which a jury duty really comes down to, you want someone that's, really excited and passionate to be about it. I think it goes the opposite way in jury duty. You want someone that's going to be meticulous, that's going to be inquisitive, but I don't think you want someone that really wants to be there. And that goes against all human instincts in most cases, but I think in this case that is how most attorneys look at it.
So my question for you is, from a content perspective, though, do we want him to be selected?
Yes.
And
there is no doubt he needs to be the foreman, and he needs to run the whole thing, and he needs to document it, and we need to make it into a digi only. And I don't know if they allow any of that. So if Jesse can harness that and bring a bunch of topics back from it, I'm all in on this jury duty bit. If he's just going to go there and then come back and say, "Hey, it was fun, it was good," then I'm out. But I think he is angling and understanding that this is a content, and that's another reason why he probably shouldn't be on the jury.
All right. So Chris in the ESPN Madison YouTube comments. We'll get to Packers conversation shortly. But lucky Jesse, I was on a jury 2 years ago for a 3-day case, Chris writes. Started late every day because the lawyers would argue and we couldn't be in the room. There's a lot of time wasted in the jury room.
Yeah, I believe it.
That sucked. We deliberated for like 4.5 hours because there were two people putting their feelings over the evidence that was laid out.
Yeah.
If he's in the jury room or they haven't started the selection process yet, he could be on his phone. So there you go. And he has gone dark for the last 10 minutes or so. So maybe he's being selected as we speak, and that's why we're not getting any updates. Because Lord knows, Tausch, he would not choose to stop updating us.
No,
he'd be giving us a play-by-play.
He's all in on it. So kudos to. I hope Jesse does it. He's being civically responsible, and for the show, I hope he makes it on. And I think he really, really wants to get on, and I'm sure Becca is pulling for him to do that too.
Roy brings up an interesting point in the YouTube comments on ESPN Madison YouTube.
I was just debating whether to read this or not.
I think we have to, because it would be hilarious for Jesse.
It would be a miscarriage of justice. Roy writes, and I quote, "The best content would be Jesse sending an innocent man to jail and then Jesse thinking he did a great job as a foreman." No! We're not sending innocent people to jail for content purposes.
But then think about the documentary that would come out like 3 years later about this guy that's in jail and he shouldn't be, and it's because of Jesse. That's hilarious.
No, it's not hilarious. We're talking about someone's life, A. And B, it wouldn't be 12 angry men. It would be one inept juror, right? It would be him. Be the story of his ineptitude.
The beautiful part is Jason, one inept juror is not putting you in jail.
Be a hung jury? Is that how that works from my Law and Order
12.
watching?
I think it takes all 12, one way or the other. Otherwise, it's a reset. So,
all right. Well,
Jesse can't put it all on himself.
Well, that'll allow us to avoid that scenario. All right. So Jesse will continue there. I want to get to some of the conversation about the Packers. I did write for Sunday's Sunday Read on channel3000.com about the leadership component for Jordan Love and the process that he's going through to try and become a more vocal leader, step out of his comfort zone a little bit. But I didn't want to ask about that because we addressed that last week. Here's what I wanted to ask about, because you spent some time with Tucker Kraft at the draft. He chickened out and didn't name you the winner in your cook-off. He abdicated that responsibility, and then some might say you didn't deserve to win, but the crowd cheered for you instead of Bulaga. But he came out and said that he intended to be more of a leader this season. Is that something that you announce? And what do you think of Tucker wanting to make that something that he wants to accomplish this season in his third year in the NFL?
I don't think you need to announce it. I mean, guys know by play and by kind of seniority, there's kind of a process you go through. Some guys can come in right away and be, a big time leader. And then there's other times that it takes some time for you to find your voice. And again, not everybody needs to be rah-rah. Matter of fact, I thought the opposite of it. I thought it was more about showing, not talking about it. So I think Tucker Kraft has shown how he played and how he finished the season, that he's going to be a leader. He obviously has elevated his role. And I think a lot of times you kind of find your voice, just like you do in life when you're growing up, and you find your voice, and then you utilize how you best think that voice can be used to help accomplish the goals you're looking for. And Tucker wants to win. He wants to be a great player, and he wants to have a fantastic career. And I think he realizes that being a leader and doing that part of it is a big piece to that puzzle.
How vital, I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about leadership and chemistry. How vital is that from your experience? And here's what I mean by that, because everybody talks about it, right? And it's a spectrum of quality of leadership and of chemistry. Do you only know if it's a problem if it goes poorly? Like, were you ever on a team where the leadership wasn't very good? And could you tell that was a problem?
Yes. And it was the season that Ted kind of took over for Mike Sherman. There was confusion and just kind of a weird vibe from the top. And I thought that was the only season I ever felt that way. And then you saw it with, we had coaches talking about players that weren't there anymore. It is so hard to win anyways in this league. You need everybody working together. You can have your own beliefs and thoughts on things, but messaging and approach need to be everybody moving in the same direction. So for as much as I don't like old boy up in Minnesota rowing the boat, it's a really good analogy because you need everybody. You can't have the oxman up front and whoever's in the back rowing against it. You're just going to spin in circles. You're not going anywhere. So that analogy, while I don't like his operation, it actually makes a ton of sense. And for the most part, it doesn't come down to, boy, he's such a good speaker. That's great, but Tony Robbins ain't coming in and helping us win championships. He might give us something that will give us a mental idea that we can work on, but I don't want Tony Robbins blocking Julius Peppers, or I don't want him running the football. I want everybody to know their role. The big thing about all of this is everybody finding their role, figuring out what the team needs from you, and then doing it to the best of your ability. And you do need leadership for that. But this idea that you need to have 10 different guys that are great, are going to be give a great halftime speech or a big time pregame speech. It's just not. That ain't it. What is it is, hey man, this guy's going to hold accountable. You're not running your route at the right depth. You're going to say something. You're going to get it fixed. It isn't about bickering and complaining about it and try. It's about fixing problems when they arrive so that you don't have monster problems showing up at your doorstep every other week.
So did you see that change quickly in 2006? Like when Mike McCarthy came in?
No, it was a process. Matter of fact, I've told Mike this, and I had conversations with him when we had our leadership council. I thought we didn't hold enough accountability early in that season. I thought we played scared, and we got beat, I think 33-0 or something against the Bears right out of the gate. And it was, we got to do this. You got to let it rip. And I think that's where when Matt LaFleur did that with Jordan Love, that rang a bell to me because scared money don't make money in this league. You ain't going to win jack playing scared. You're just not. You have to be aggressive. And when you're a young football team, part of your process is, I want to protect. No, you ain't winning in this league doing that. And I think it took us a little bit of time that year to find our way. And I actually think when Aaron Rodgers took over, we didn't play scared. We played more cautious and scared in 2006 than we did in 2008. And that was with Brett Favre playing quarterback in 2006. Now, again, we came out of it, but go back and look at that 2006 game. It was one of those games where we went into it, and I knew, we are playing not to lose and not make mistakes, and that ain't the formula to win anything in this league.
The opener against the Bears where you guys got shut out?
That's literally what I just said, yeah.
I don't remember why you were so terrible. I just remember you were terrible.
Okay, great.
Well,
I just told you why.
But for you to play scared,
and I bet if you read quotes from that day, you'd be able to decipher that we all knew what was going on. And I think Mike knew what was going on. It was a case where I think you didn't. If you remember, we started 3 new dudes in the middle. We lost a bunch of guys. Maybe Flanny was playing. I can't remember if Flanny was still there. No, he wasn't.
No,
the whole thing was just we have to do this and we're going to pay all. And it just doesn't work. And you want to make sure you're not doing things guys can't. But when I just remember back to that season, I remember the beginning of the year, we were incredibly cautious, and it just didn't work.
So was it because, though, of the young offense, the 3 fat guys whine?
No, I'm not putting it in. No, it was because we decided we were going to play that way. It's not like we went out there and said, we can't do this, we can't. No, you got to go play. And
no, I'm not putting. No. I'm not putting it on them. I'm saying, did Mike?
You just asked me.
No, right? Did Mike take that approach because of
you'd have to ask Mike. I don't know. All I know is we did not do what we did. We were not doing what we normally did. We were incredibly conservative, more so than at any other point. And while I was in Green Bay, that was by far the most conservative and risk-averse operation we took. And by the way, as the season unfolded, we stopped doing that. There is a process, and I'm not saying we should have been a run and shoot, air it out. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we knew going into it we were going to bank on defense and play, and that's just not how Green Bay Packer football is played.
No. According to the game book from that matchup, you and Cliffy started at tackle. Tony Mall at right guard, Jason Spitz at left guard, and Scotty Wells was still the starting center. Now, my memory fades a little bit. He must have suffered an injury at some point during that season that Spitz played a little bit maybe at center. All three of those guys, those three young guys, the rookies, they all started 10 games each that year. Yeah. That was also the year that Cliffy got the strip mall sushi Jason Taylor food poisoning, right? In Miami?
Yeah, I don't remember if that was the year. All I remember is that season, the starting point, when you asked that question, that was the point and the only time that I felt like we didn't have confidence in ourselves. That's it.
And you got that sense from the 23 team during the first half of that season until they let it rip.
No, I'm saying I think you brought that point up about Jordan Love and that meeting and the game in Pittsburgh when I was like, we got to just let him play.
Sure.
You can't baby and you got to let things rip. Period. Now, that doesn't mean you leave people on islands and you say, you know what, we're going to have you cover what we're going to have LaTroy Guion try and block Warren Sapp. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying you still have to run your stuff. You still have to do your thing as this process unfolds.
And then you guys won your last 4 games that season, and it was, some might say it was a springboard into the 07 season then when you guys went to the NFC Championship game. All right, Tausch is live from TPC, Wisconsin, getting ready for the Pro-Am today. We'll have more from him and more from Wilde And Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
We're on the Badgers.
There are moments where it feels like you're close, but taken holistically, those look like blips.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
To win a championship, you have to consistently be that team.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Attention business owners and executives. Looking for a bank that's invested in your community as you are? Look no further than Starion Bank. As a Dane County community bank, Starion offers competitive deposit and loan rates while actively supporting local initiatives. Visit a business banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, and Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, full-service business banking, lending, and cash management.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, We have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com, because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
Madison School and Community Recreation's For Friends golf outing is Wednesday, July 23rd at the Oaks Golf Course. Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. Since 2003, the Friends of MSCR has raised over $630,000 to fund new programming, equipment, fee assistance, staff development, and more. You can support accessible recreation in Madison through sponsorship or by signing up for a foursome. Head to birdease.com/MSCR for more information and to register. That's BIRDEASE.com/MSCR.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Continuing from the TPC Wisconsin, where are you? Is that the media area? Are you media there?
No, I'm literally at the 18th hole. I don't have a great angle with the camera, but everything is set up for the most part.
Used to
and
that.
I am in the ESPN Wisconsin. We're next to the ESPN Wisconsin little strip that we have as from hospitality from our end. We got Tito's, we got Gordon Flesh over here, we got the Brewers. It'll be a fun day. I don't know if this is where we'll be. So we'll probably be in the media center on Friday. But This is where I'll be all day Friday, having a Tito's and a Coors Light, probably celebrating, again, one of my favorite weekends of the year, the AmFam Championship Open out here. And now it's just at a different course than what it's been in the first 7 or 8 years that we've been doing this.
And we do not have an update on your pairing for the Pro-Am.
For today, I do not. No, I'll make sure I fill you in tomorrow. People are starting to matriculate in, so we'll see.
All right. Well, Jesse has been called to the interview room, so that's the last update we're going to get from him for a while. I wonder if he's approaching this like he'd be interviewing for a job that he really wants. Like, is he going to come off as eager and excited to be a juror, and is he going to get himself booted? He could be back at the station in no time if that's what happens. So we won't be getting any updates from him in a while.
That'll be the last thing that he wants to have happen, for sure.
Do you get the sense he can play it cool?
I don't know how he's going to approach it. I think he'll be over aggressive. If I was betting,
I would tend to agree. All right, I want to get into what Jordan Love talked about in terms of the wide receiver group, because we didn't get to that last week, and the Packers have another OTA practice coming up tomorrow that'll be open to the media, so we'll get to that. Tausch, though, why don't you tell us a little bit about UW Credit Union and what they've got going on? I'm guessing they're out there because they're everywhere these days.
They are for every for every stage of life. UW Credit Union is here, proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach your financial goals. People ask me, why did you join UW Credit Union, OT? Well, to keep my banking local. Yep, member first service. Yep. Great perks like early payday. I love that too. But man, I just love Wisconsin. I love Bucky. Can't say no to that pretty little face. If you love Wisconsin, like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom will make you do crazy things. But man, this makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member today. Get your Bucky card like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Jordan Love thinks he'll be able to keep everybody happy in the wide receiver room. Will he? We'll discuss that next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
The Milwaukee Brewers, the Cincinnati Reds.
Fly ball deep to left field. This is going back. Kepler turning. He's a spectator. See you later. Reese Hoskins has gone deep twice.
Tonight on 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com.
With your Badger Minute, I'm Riley Yauk. Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh made an appearance on Wilde And Tausch Friday morning and made sure to clarify that despite all the changes in the world of college athletics, Wisconsin's non-revenue generating sports are here to stay.
I can't miss an opportunity to reiterate the fact that while I can empathize with participants in Olympic sports around the uncertainty and the fear right now, because there are programs that are being eliminated around the country, that is not on the table for us, and it hasn't been from the start.
What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Pella has a product line for every budget.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
It's a home run! But wait, is your roof ready for the big league storms? If your roof has more holes than a catcher's mitt, it's time to bring in the pros. At Avondale Roofing, we've been handling leaks, repairs, and full replacements with major league precision for over 30 years. And as a GAF Master Elite certified contractor, we bring top-tier quality and proven performance to every job. Whether it's a quick patch-up or full upgrade, our team steps up to the plate and knocks it out of the park every time. You're out! Don't wait till water's in your dugout. Call Avondale Roofing today and keep your home in the win column.
Zimbrick Honda and ESPN Medicine present the Game Changers of the Month, recognizing the area's best high school sports stories about those who make a positive impact in their community. Here's Pablo Iglesias with Zimbrick Honda's Game Changers of the Month.
Pablo Iglesias here at Middleton High School for the Zimbrick Honda Game Changers of the Month, and we're recognizing 2 schools who are bitter rivals, but Middleton and Sun Prairie East are putting their differences aside for a cause greater than them. This is the Cardinals Striking Out Cancer event, where over $200,000 has collectively been raised over the years for a great cause. We talk with the coaches and so many more for this great event in the Madison area.
We've raised an enormous amount of money for the American Family Children's Hospital, and that goes to speak to it. We have people just today walking around the building that putting their kids through school, and they're like, hey, thanks for sending out the link to donate. I'm happy I could help make a difference, and I'm happy that you guys are putting this on. It's important, and it's important work because everyone's affected, whether you're ready for it or not. It does affect people.
Follow ESPN Madison on YouTube to see the full interview with the Game Changers of the Month, presented by Zimbrick Honda.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Wilde And Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
I'm
Tausch, do you think I complain a lot?
Not a lot. Sometimes, but not a lot, I wouldn't say.
So I don't want to complain about this, but I'm kind of gonna.
Okay.
And again, the most important thing is that their flight lands safely. So
Sure.
just to be clear on that. But how often does a flight get in early? Does that happen?
You're going to complain about a flight getting in early?
Well, only because it's kind of a delicate balancing act of leaving the show to go get them as they land earlier than they were scheduled. So that's the only reason I'm complaining.
Oh, and is there no like Ubers or anything up in the greater Green Bay area, or is it? How does that work?
No. Are you suggesting that I should make them take an Uber with all their luggage and everything?
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm saying obviously if it's inconvenience, then it's not working out in a schedule. I'm pretty sure Uber and probably Lyft are up there. The airport pickup, you obviously want to pick your kids up when you can, and you want to grab your wife. It's a nice thing. You grab the luggage.
My
you don't
wife.
have to
Yes,
pass.
indeed.
What did you say, Elmo?
You said I want to grab. Never mind. Go ahead.
Let's move on.
Furry? I didn't bring it up. Jason did.
You said you want to grab your wife, is what you said.
Yeah, from the airport. I didn't mean it.
Okay.
You really got some. Anyways, no. If you're going to complain about, I don't think there could be anything more out of touch than complaining that a flight is early. No.
Okay.
Because you just think about like Newark and all the stuff going on, and the fact that your family would be home earlier, and I understand why you're saying it, but I think that would be IPT.
Okay, well, I'm not complaining about it then. I'm just saying that it's going to adjust our timeline slightly.
Just like Jesse not asking for Pat Murphy to get fired, you kind of are complaining because you brought it up, and you see what I'm saying.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, yeah,
Okay.
but not sort of just inconvenient. Far be it from
I'll
me
tell
to
you what. So
complain.
yesterday I was up. My niece graduated high school up in Rochester, Minnesota. So we were up at her graduation party for a day or two, and Sarah did one of the more bold things. I don't know. Can we tease this out? What time is it? No, we got plenty of time left. So I was trying to think. I know we got to get. She did something bold that had no real payoff. We're sitting there. Yeah, I listen. Sarah does a lot of things great. She does a lot of things great. She's not great with names either. I mean, I struggle with it. People say, "Do you remember?" We go, and there was somebody comes up. We're sitting over in the tent having our lunch and all this other stuff. And this guy comes over, and I don't know who. I know he's one of my brother's friends.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly his name, and I certainly don't remember all of his kids. So he comes over, this casual small talk. How's your kids? How's your summer? Blah, 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 blah. It's all great. And then Sarah's sitting next to me. Sarah, oh, hey. And instead of just kind of playing the game and saying, not saying a lot, but she says, oh, congratulations on Jace. And I'm looking, and I legit didn't even, I had no clue. I'm thinking to myself, as she says this, that's impressive, or it's incredibly bold, and I'm not sure. And the awkward silence that occurs after she says this, she thought that this kid had won a state championship. It was one of Craig's friends' kids, but it was not this. It was not this guy's kid.
Well, whose kid was it?
Not this guy's. And then I talked to her. I said, sometimes you have to look at like the risk reward on things. What was the reward on this? That you're going to get an Attagirl because you knew that this was Jace's dad? So instead, awkward silence, and then in essence, conversation killed, walk-off conversation, but not a walk-off in a good way.
So wait, did you ever determine, like, how did this play out? So after she makes this announcement, What was that?
That's Tausch's phone. It's still going.
He's playing music. Are we going to get banned from YouTube because Tausch is playing some smooth jazz through his phone?
I don't know what's happening. I think maybe we're good now. We good, Tausch?
I unfortunately missed a lot of your response, as I don't know how this all works.
You're playing smooth jazz over there.
Who is?
You.
What are you talking about?
We were getting music on the show of like some sort of like smooth, like you're on hold and you're waiting for our next representative will be with you shortly.
Oh yeah, I can't. I just was called. I called Delta. I said I can't believe you got a flight in early for Wildy's kids.
Don't change the subject.
That's what I tried to do. I called Delta and said, "How dare you get the Wildy family in early on their flight?" So what were you saying? It didn't make any sense to me that she went that bold.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're glad that you're back, first of all, because we were getting literal music, which was unexpected. So we're happy to have you. I would just say, how did it? What was the result? Like, how did you find out that she had the wrong person?
The awkward silence, the chagrined look on his face, and then the "Who are you talking about?" question. So those three things were kind of indicators that she had gotten it wrong.
And did you do further investigation to figure out who
we found
she was
out,
thinking
we
of?
found out it was the wrong guy and the wrong family in the whole operation. So, yeah, it was one of those. I actually appreciated she went, she swung big. And she struck out, but she swung big. So I can't sit here. I wasn't mad about it. I thought it was bold. I didn't understand why pick that moment to be bold, though. That was the part that I was trying to understand from Sarah's perspective. I think she just was feeling confident in her recognition on what was going on. And I think she was happy because it was either on Facebook or something else that she saw it. So to be able to spread that information and bring joy, and unfortunately it just was to the wrong dad.
Well, I admire her efforts. I'm sorry it didn't work out much like the music that we got to listen to there. I am curious, did you have anything else that came out of your graduation party shindig? Because usually when the brothers get together, there's a lot going on.
There was another thing that came out that I think you're going to appreciate, and it's kind of my new thing. One of Sophia's friends' parents, big fans of the fact that I played for the Packers. My new thing is you want a picture with me, which is great. I love it. It was great. I had a nice conversation. We ended up actually having a really good conversation about the Vikings and Bears and how much we respect Bear fans more than Viking fans, because we're up in Viking country up there in Rochester.
Sure.
But I now, in essence, and I don't want to say I force, but they're interested, and even if they're feigning interest in me, I make them subscribe to our YouTube channel and download our podcast to get a photo. Is that IPT? Is that IPT?
I love it. That's brilliant.
No, it's ingenious. It's not inappropriate. Wait, so this was a friend of your niece?
It was a friend of it was her friend's dad was one of the people. Obviously, that's what happens at graduation parties. Your kids' friends, you have some of your neighbors and your friends. But in this case, he was over, and he was a big fan. I can tell he was a little nervous. Craig actually introduced us. We started talking. He was a really nice guy. He knew a lot about the Packers, knew a lot about my career. So we're discussing, and I said, well, I got something for you. You can't get enough Packers. I got the exact spot you need to be. And he said, oh, here. And then I downloaded it on his Apple
He handed
podcast.
You his phone?
Yeah, he gave me his phone because he wanted a picture. So we took pictures. And then I said, this would be great. And I said, you know what would be awesome? He had a really good question and actually a really good point. I told him, you are addicted to the YouTube chat. I said, jump on our YouTube channel and bring this point up today. Now, whether or not he will or not, I don't know. He's got a job. He's got other stuff.
Sure.
So I don't necessarily, but he was really interested. And his point was that he said Brett Favre led with his heart. Aaron Rodgers led with his head. Because everybody wants to know about Rodgers and Favre. Like, that's just standard protocol whenever people are talking about the Packers and my career and just in life. And I said, that is a great point you brought up. Put it on the YouTube chat and we will discuss it. So if and when he does, we'll have that discussion. But I didn't think it was IPT at all.
No.
And matter of fact, my brother brought up a new game that he wants us to play on our show, which is IPT or APT. IPT or apt. The conversation is apt or the conversation is ipt. And I thought that could be something fun down the road. So that's kind of what some of the things we learned yesterday.
Well, it sounds like a great time was had by all. And
and there's one other thing too, since you asked, which I appreciate.
Would you like to start the 10 o'clock hour with that?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds like a great. That would be APT. That'd be apt if we did that.
Well, it would also be APT if you talked about the American Family Insurance partnership that we have had since the beginning, since you're out there at the AmFam Championship at TPC, Wisconsin.
Indeed. We've seen this. I've said the championship that they put on with the money that is raised for local charities. We love American Family Insurance, and they love their community. A proud partner of Wilde And Tausch. For almost 100 years, they've been committed to making life better. The right home and auto protection. Also, you're free to enjoy your dreams. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde And Tausch kicks off in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde And Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owns. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The Milwaukee Brewers have won 7 in a row, and they've swept back-to-back teams after a 5-2 win over the Philadelphia Phillies Sunday afternoon. While the offense has been showing out, scoring 5+ runs in 6 consecutive games, the Brew Crew has also made some highlight reel plays on defense.
0-1 to Real Muto. His ground ball back up the middle, played with a slide by Ortiz, throws to first, and Hoskins with the stretch. Goodness, what a play by Joey Ortiz. Oh, man. Highlight reel from the Brewers shortstop. Absolutely phenomenal.
The Brew Crew continues their road trip, starting a 3-game series at the Cincinnati Reds tonight. Aaron Savali is on the mound for the Brew Crew. Coverage will start at 5:34, right after Jim, Matt, and Molly. First pitch at 6:10, right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde And Tausch. begins now. And it continues with Tausch's story time from the graduation party.
So, Jason, before I get back into that, is Jordan Love going to lead with his head or with his heart?
First of all right, so I'm going to answer a question with a question, which I know irritates you.
Would you agree with the guy that we took the photo with that Favre led with his heart and Rodgers led with his head?
Not entirely. You
Why
played
not?
with both. I think Rodgers cared about his teammates a lot.
No, I'm not. I'm not arguing that. That's not. But when you're talking about,
I think when someone says that to you, though, I think that sounds a little bit like, he led with his heart, and he cared so he loved the game and he cared about.
It's
not
a shot at it. No, I would look at it. It's not a shot at Aaron.
All right, help me understand what it means then.
Well, I'd have to go. He's going to have to go in the YouTube chat and tell. But I think it's more of Brett played more on feel and probably more on emotion than Aaron did. I don't think that's saying anything out of turn. I think Aaron Rodgers was much more meticulous, and I think he understood. Brett Favre didn't understand nickel defenses in the beginning of his career. I just think Aaron looked at the game more from a cerebral standpoint, and Brett did it more from, and this isn't a shot at Aaron, he didn't have any heart. Of course he did. But I think it is a difference because you have to pick one or the other. They both brought both to the game. I mean, as Brett got older, he knew where he was going with the football before the ball was snapped. But I think fans would agree that is the case. And maybe I think you're being a little sensitive to the fact that I said that about Rodgers, and it isn't a shot at him under any circumstance.
Well, I would say that folks look at Rodgers as clinical, precise, demanding, sometimes overly demonstrative when he was unhappy, which I would be the first one to say that was not a great quality. I don't think anybody wants to be shown up on the field. And you can play some more music for us. I don't think that's viewed as a positive quality. Now,
what's not viewed as a positive?
When you are showing guys up on the field, you could be demanding, but when you throw your arms up and stuff like that, that's not leading with your heart. That's leading with frustration.
Okay.
I would be curious if your new friend, who's now a subscriber to the YouTube channel and the podcast,
he's a subscriber like I subscribe.
Oh,
so
sure, yeah.
Maybe I didn't get it all ordered up right. I know he's a podcast listener now. That I know.
Is he more of a Favre guy than a Rodgers guy?
No, I didn't sense that. It was
okay.
More, I think that there was an appreciation for both, but I feel like you're sensitive about this, and I didn't think it was.
I'm not. I don't want. What I'm saying is that I do think Rodgers presented a very clinical approach,
surgical.
Right,
Much
and it's
more
not
surgical.
And it's not like he didn't show emotion, like when in the win in 2013 in Chicago, he's jumping around like a crazy person after he throws the touchdown to Randall Cobb. In the win in 2016 in Dallas, after Mason Crosby makes the game-winning kick after the pass to Jared Cook, he shows plenty of excited, happy emotion. The Hail Mary in Detroit. But I do think people view him in comparison to Favre as not being sufficiently lead with your heart-ish. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think I'm wrong about that in terms of how he's perceived. He's just the old John Madden line. Oh, he's just having fun out there. Yeah, and sometimes that worked out great. Like when he ran when he wasn't supposed to in the last game at County Stadium and he scored a touchdown to send them to the playoffs when Holmgren said, under no circumstances, don't run because we don't have any timeouts left. And they won the game and they went to the playoffs. On the flip side, I'm not sure that always not being detailed worked out, right? Or however it may have played out during the Brett Favre era. It's not a sensitivity. It's I want to understand what the mentality is behind that comp. And then I have no idea where to put Jordan Love because I don't think he's anywhere close to, like, how much emotion do we see with him? To what level do you think
he would be?
I don't see
more
that much
cerebral. I think it's going to be more of a cerebral. That doesn't mean he's not going to do the fist bump and all this, the pump in the fist. That's not what I think. There's going to be emotion, but I think Favre was did too much sometimes on emotion, and there's a balance that you have to find on both sides of it. You can't be robotic. Nobody is saying Aaron Rodgers is robotic. I can promise you that.
Right.
But when you're comparing to Brett and the firing the ball underhand, jumping up on people and getting yelled at for tackling people early in his career, I don't think he was the same way as he got older. I think he mellowed out and was more cerebral as he got older. You have more emotion, I think, as a younger player, because it's harder. I don't think you know the game as well. And you better be more cerebral as you get older in this business, because that is part of getting the elevator and up and making it as equal as you can.
So did Favre ever become more cerebral and you felt like he was
he was cerebral most of the time I played with him. I missed the, back when he was whipping it around. Like he still had that, and I think where you started that path and what kind of made me feel like you're being sensitive about it is like to act as if Aaron didn't form relationships and have a passion for the game. That is not what I'm saying. You're comparing two things. And I know that you don't like comparing things, even though you do a sports talk show. When you look at it, Brett's up here from a emotion because some of those moments, that's what you recall, and fans view it that way. Perception isn't always reality, but I think in this case, if you're asking me who played the game more from a cerebral mindset and who played the game more from a heart and what he thinks, I can fit that ball through that window. Aaron thought he could fit it through a window too, but it just was he was going to be more precise. Like, the wind is blowing here, I got to do this. Brett just I'm just going to whip through there.
Sure, and I think my concern is that I think everyone looks back on Favre's career with these kind of sepia-toned memories of how great it was.
What's a sepia tone?
The sepia tone is like the kind of the brown and white pictures. They're old-timey pictures, and you think back to a historic time like of Lincoln. Or they're brown and white, and they're these memories.
All right, I've been around a long time, and I
never
love
heard
vocab.
sepia toned.
No,
you're not as well read as me.
So
that here's the thing.
I have a master's degree, so I don't know if I could agree with you on that. I would say, Hunter, have you ever heard of the term sepia tone?
Yeah, but I don't.
Of course, yeah.
Well, Tausch, I was just going to say, I also got a degree in radio, TV, film. I've heard of that kind of stuff. So,
all right.
It'd be bad if I didn't.
So my point is that I think we romanticize how we think of Favre and his leadership and how he played the game. Because, look, just having fun out there, it wasn't fun in that playoff game in St. Louis, right? And for all the people that look at Aaron Rodgers and say, he didn't win enough Super Bowls, I don't feel like people say that about Favre. I feel like they say it about Rodgers because they have these.
Well, Jason, if we're being honest about it, who had more talent? Who had more opportunities to get it done? Brett or Aaron?
Brett got to a second one.
I know. He should have won two. But I don't think obviously we had the 4th and 26, the NFC Championship game. There were other opportunities. But Aaron Rodgers, I would argue, had more teams that were probably Super Bowl winning caliber rosters than Brett Favre did. If we're looking at it realistically.
So again, this is what I'm trying to get at in terms of the leadership. Like, do we think of him as a better leader or just a different leader?
Different. I don't think anyone is
for you as a player.
He was not looking. My guy, my new YouTube fan, was not looking at this from he stunk and he didn't. He was just making a point, and I thought, really interesting topic. I love it.
It's
content is never content.
I'm not.
You can use that. Content is never content. That's Pat. That's a Pat quote. I think both guys led in different ways. Neither of them, I think, would be looked at as this was bad, this was good. It was different, though. They were not the same. There was a lot of differences in how they approach things.
Fair enough. The reason why I think it's a great topic. I'm actually really intrigued by it. On the flip side of it, I don't know, and we can talk about this next while I drive to the airport. I don't know what kind of leader Jordan Love is. I'm super intrigued because the whole discussion about him has been about his leadership style and that he needs to be more vocal. And
who is the one that's directing that narrative?
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur said Jordan Love isn't vocal enough? He said that?
As an avid reader of Channel 3000, as I know you are, I recapped what he said after the season. Because remember, the question we asked him was very clearly, what does Jordan need to do better for you guys to get to where you want to go? Okay? And the idea that his answer was, and I quote, evolve as a vocal leader. He didn't say he's got to be more accurate. He didn't say he's got to run more with his legs.
He does need to run more with his legs.
He does. He didn't say he's got to take fewer chances with the football.
I would agree with that, too.
He didn't say any of those things. The first thing out of his mouth was, and I quote, evolve as a leader. Yeah. And then that quote continues, I think he can really demand a lot because the locker room respects him. And they respect him not only as a person, but by the work he puts in. One of his best qualities is that he is one of the guys. They all respect him. But I think when things aren't quite right, I think he can voice that as well. When guys aren't quite doing what they're supposed to be doing, he's one of the guys to talk about that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Well, it sounds to me like he doesn't do that enough. That's why he's saying it that way. I just think it means more when it comes from your quarterback than when it comes from me or one of our other coaches. So to me, when he said that, the implication was he doesn't hold guys to account frequently enough and he lets the coaches do it. That's what that sounds like to me. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not in the locker room. I mean, obviously.
Neither am I.
Yeah, you are.
Not when he's correcting guys, I'm not.
So, I mean, you felt strong. I just think that that's such a easy narrative, and you have to earn that. He has earned that, but again, it's about being who you are. And Jordan Love, the quarterback position demands a lot. You have to hold guys accountable. But this concept of him needing to be up in guys' faces and doing that, if that's not who he is, then he best not do that. If that's who he grows into being, great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I would think that this is going to be, obviously a big year for Jordan. He's proven the fact he is one of the guys. There is, at some point when you become the big boy quarterback that we all want him to be, things do change. You become that guy nationally, and it changes, and you already are hearing young players say, that's Jordan Love. And it's not to the same degree of Rodgers or Favre, but as he has more and more success, that is another thing that he's going to have to work through. He's not there yet, though.
All right, I want to talk more about this, and since the timing of my airport run has turned out to be a little bit off, the girls are already at their at the baggage claim. I will join on the phone on my drive to Austin Straubel Airport to continue this conversation, because here's one instance that I want to get to. both Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed said Jordan Love is doing one thing more than he was doing previously already in OTAs. How's this for a tease?
Sounds pretty good.
I'll tell you what it is from the car next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to save money and help save the planet by making an energy switch to Everlight Solar. Whether it's for an upcoming summer vacation, college tuition, in advance of a life-changing purchase, or just because you're financially responsible, everybody is always looking to save money. Well, you can save money and help save the planet by making an energy switch with Everlight Solar. Our family made the switch to solar after looking around for quite some time, and at first, we just weren't quite sure where to even start. That's when we met the great team over at Everlight Solar. From the very first conversation, they educated us on the benefits of solar while also helping keep the process simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
The Milwaukee Brewers, the Cincinnati Reds.
Fly ball deep to left field. This is going back. Kepler turning. He's a spectator. See you later. Rhys Hoskins has gone deep twice.
Tonight on 100.5 ESPN.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
The greatest show on dirt is charging through Wisconsin. Saturday, June 7th, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars invade Beaver Dam Raceway's grand finale for the Jim J.B. Boyd Memorial, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Then it's a Sunday special on June 8th when the Outlaws race to Angel Park for the first time since 2016. Gates open at 4 p.m. Tickets at slspromotions.com. Be there.
Get ready for the ultimate Saturday night at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Join us for the all-new Queen of Hearts drawing at 4, 6, 8, and 10 p.m. This is your chance for royal glory. When your name is drawn, choose the right card and you could win a life-changing jackpot, up to $150,000. The longer the Queen stays hidden, the bigger the jackpot grows. Let's Hard Rock with the Queen of Hearts only at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Breese Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. I've been telling you for years how great Door County Distillery is. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. The sun is shining, and so can the Rock Island Rum from Door County Distillery in your summertime cocktail. Otherwise, vodkas, gins, whiskeys, brandies, and more, it's all available from the award-winning Door County Distillery. Find a huge list of unique cocktail recipes and the retailer nearest you, DoorCountyDistillery.com. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Tausch rolls on as I roll to Austin Straubel International Airport. International, because I think they have a couple of flights to Canada each day. Pick up Paula and the girls. So, Tausch, the point that I would make a big statement about is what Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed both talked about, and that is that in their meetings, they have both noticed, now they're both smart guys, so I'm sure they're also aware that this was going to be a narrative of some sort, so they were prepared for questions about this, I'm sure. But that he is pointing more things out in meetings. If something, if someone's misaligned as he gets ready to run a route, or if there's a protection adjustment that is missed, he is speaking up more, according to both Jaden Reed and Josh Jacobs. So take us inside one of those meetings with Favre or Rodgers and help us understand, how does that work? What is the responsibility of the quarterback? Because that's what my point was when talking about what Matt LaFleur said after the season, is that it sounded, the way he was talking, as if Jordan Love was more likely to sit in the meeting and allow the coaches do the correcting instead of him. And I don't know if that's the way Favre and Rodgers were, or if that's how Rodgers was early on as the starter and you and a bunch of other veterans were around him in 2008. So give us an idea of what the dynamic was with those two guys and then how that might compare with what Jordan Love needs to do more of.
So, typically the offensive coordinator gets up in front of the room and you go over a couple of plays, and then the offensive line breaks out and the receivers and quarterbacks stay together and they'll go through their route stuff. And while we'll go in and look at protections and run game and stuff like that. So all I can tell you is there are times when you have the whole team together and you'll look at plays, and then there's times when you just get together as an offense, and it always is going to mean more when it comes from the player. Tom Rossley could say something, Jeff Jagosinski, Joe Philbin, you got to have this depth, you got to have this. But when your quarterback is basically going to say, and I think it's actually more so, and I saw more of it on the field, whether it was a jog through or an actual 7-on-7 or just regular 11-on-11, when you get back and your quarterback is going to say, if you don't get to this depth, I'm not even going to look your way, or this is what you need to do. And if you're not doing it and you see that pattern happen more than once, that's when you start getting into issues. So it always means more coming from the player than from a coach. And I think that's the evolution, because it is not an easy thing to look at and go up to a Jaden Reed or guys that you have played with. And if you're going to sit there and say you're going to get after a guy, the player has to respect that and move on. It can't be hurt feelings and, if you throw the ball here, it's got to be, yes, sir. Yes, I have to do that. And when you get to that point, that's where the player really has to understand the other player. And that's why forming relationships in the offseason and getting it so you know who these guys are, that's why that part of this is so important, and why you see such a push for chemistry and things like that, because it can't just be lollipops and rainbows. There are tough conversations that have to be had. You have to be willing to have them, and it is more meaningful if it's Jagosinski saying it 15 times or if Jordan Love says it once.
So is it different when it's a quarterback with as much accomplishments as Rodgers and Favre? Because, we were talking about this late last week, right? And you made the comment about how you played with those guys, and that was different than what it's going to be like to play with Jordan Love and this leadership thing. So what does Jordan Love have to overcome then? Because I would think when Aaron Rodgers with 2, 3, 4 MVPs, or Brett Favre by the time you were playing with him with 3 MVPs and a Super Bowl title, it's a little different than if you're playing with Favre in like 1994 and Mike Holmgren is constantly frustrated with him throwing rocket balls and, improvising, or Rodgers in '08 when he's trying to kind of take control of the team following Favre.
The resume always matters, and I think you have to earn it. And when you're going to be a leader and you're going to be critical and you're going to demand, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to also be willing to take that critique. And you have to also understand when you're doing that, you're going to be held to a higher account. I was very fortunate that I had quarterbacks that did that and understood it and could also demand it. You can't do that as somebody that doesn't have the pelts on the wall. It's just different. So yes, your credibility, and you can be a really good leader and not be the star player. But as far as quarterback and holding guys accountable, if you're sailing throws when guys are at the right depth and you're sitting there saying, "Well, you did it," no, you need to perform. And when you do that, you're going to get the buy-in from your guys, and that's when you start getting the growth that you're looking for. And that's where I think Jordan this year needs to even be better and more consistent so that his messaging and how he leads is going to line up with what you're looking to get out of this offense.
So you and Jordan are both brand ambassadors for American Family Insurance. He was at the AmFam Championship last year. Was it last year that they announced their partnership? So if he shows up at TPC Wisconsin after the OTAs before the minicamp next week, and he says, "Tausch, I heard you and Wilde talking about leadership. You've been there. You've done that. You were around Favre. You were around Rodgers. You played with both of them. You saw their leadership styles. Give me some advice, because I want to be a good leader. LaFleur's making a big deal about me being more vocal. What would your advice be to him?"
Be who you are. Don't get caught up in speaking and trying to be who you think you're supposed to be. You just need to be who you are. And if you do that, everything else is going to fall into line. The last thing you can do is have any sense of phoniness or inauthenticity. Once you do that, everybody sees through it. So don't try and be somebody you're not. Make yourself better, learn some lessons, and make sure you're accountable and you hold your guys accountable. All of the other stuff is just window dressing. Having guys understand what they need to do, how they need to go about it. You show every day how you practice and demand your guys do the same. You show that you know every route depth, what happens versus different coverages, what the protections are. Having everybody on board, and then you can ask other people when you show that you're holding yourself accountable. Everything else is just kind of whatever. That's how I would respond to that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Neither one of us have played with him, certainly, but in my being around him, like, one of the things that I would say about him is that I don't think you would ever have to worry about him being someone he's not, or more simply, like, not being prepared himself and then demanding something of others that he's not demanding of himself. You know what I mean? Like,
that's probably why
I don't know
that's
that.
That's maybe why he hasn't been as vocal as he's been, because just because you're quarterback and you've watched Rodgers play, you got to go out and do it. And I think until you have that confidence in yourself and you feel secure about what you're doing, how on earth are you going to sit there and ask others? So it's not as easy just snapping your fingers. I'm a leader. I'm the quarterback. Oh, this. You have to do it. And you have to have confidence in yourself to do it, because it ain't easy to get up in front of a room and ask guys for, to be exact on stuff and to do. So that's the part of this that I think you have to let it grow. And I think the process, from what Matt LaFleur is saying, is you're grown more than maybe you think. You can reach out. You can do more than what you're doing because you've proven to the point that you can.
So did Rodgers do that right away? I mean, he ascended to the starting job in 2008.
He did
we
not.
know what
no.
his personality is. So what did that look like for him, and when did you see that change with him? And could that be a kind of roadmap for Jordan Love? Was it year 3 when you guys went and won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's not a roadmap, man. There isn't like, all right, you got to get off. This isn't. You always say growth isn't linear. None of this stuff is linear. You have to find your way, and it might be 6 years, it might be 2 years, and maybe it's not. Well, you're in the 3rd year, you got to do this. Obviously, experience helps with the process, but this isn't like, all right, it's not like a honey-do list. All right, check this off. Oh, well, you completed this many passes. All right, now you can. That's not how this should be looked at. It's not how it's viewed, and I think demanding and asking for a player to do certain things, you don't want guys just to stay the same. You want guys to take those next steps, but it's not just because you're in year 3, you need to do this. That's not how this works. And that's why I would say, yes, you want to ask and demand, but to sit here and I think really try to enforce and say, this is how it has to look. I think you're probably doing a disservice doing it that way.
So, but do you think it was the right thing for LaFleur to make this? Because he's the one, again, you asked me the narrative.
Do you think
he's
it
the
was?
one who made it the narrative.
Do you think it is?
I think, my honest opinion is that I think he didn't want to criticize any of Jordan's performance. And so he was looking for something a little harder to define than all those other specific, accuracy, running the ball more, whatever it might be. And again, I don't know this. This is just the feeling I got, is that if he'd have known that we were going to latch onto it as much as we did, because Jordan got about 6 questions about this last week. In different
5
forms.
of them were from you, yeah.
No, they weren't. Only one of them was from me, in fairness. But be that as it may, if he'd have known it was going to be such a talking point, I find myself wondering if he made it.
If your theory is accurate, which you have some theories that are, some that aren't. Is it
right?
Is Matt LaFleur is he afraid to hold Jordan Love to account on, hey, I can't have you throwing 61.5% completion? Why would he not just come out and say what he wants him to be better at?
Yeah, again, when he was given the opportunity last week to say, hey, he needs to be better at this, that, and the next thing, instead he pointed to the drops, he pointed to the injuries. So I don't know the answer to that. All I'm saying is it became a narrative because of him, and that's why we're asking questions about it. So whether or not, both things could be true. Like,
I'm going to tell you this.
It could be true that
I'll say this. As a player, I would much rather you question it. You would have questions about
right
what? I didn't finish.
Right. I would rather. I know what you're going to say. I would rather have you question things that I'm doing from a football perspective than my leadership style. Am I right or am I wrong?
There's never a problem if you say you need to work on your hand placement and you need to work on getting your feet in the right position. Yeah, I agree. You have to. And if you say to Jordan Love, you got to work on your footwork and you have to work on escaping out of the pocket and being able to extend plays, nobody's going to have a problem. You think Jordan Love's going to have a problem with any of that? But the leadership component to this, you're adding a layer. He needs to be a better leader, and the way to be a better leader is by being being even more disciplined, more consistent player.
Well, all I know is that it is a question that Jordan faced a lot of questions about. It is something that his teammates are saying he is making a concerted effort to do things differently, which I think is a good thing, right? If your coach asks you to do something and you do it, that's a good thing. So
agree.
If Jordan Love is trying to be a more vocal leader and that approach is noticeable with his teammates, then that's a great thing. And it'll make them better if he does that. I just wonder. My point is I wonder if Matt LaFleur, like, my question for you would be, what would be Matt LaFleur's reasoning other than telling the truth for saying that? Like, he put it out there for all of us after the season. Like, it was a flat out, it was not about leadership that he was being asked about. It was, what does Jordan need to do better next season? And that was his answer. And so when you make that your answer, that's what makes me wonder, is that what he wanted the conversation to be? Did he want to put that public pressure on him to be better about it? That's the part I don't quite understand. And I don't have a good answer for you on it.
Okay. No, me either.
Hopefully we have lots of good answers in trivia, which Tausch and Hunter are going to play next. Hunter, what's the category and which caller would you like?
Well, of course, it's the weekend recap trivia. Let's go.
No Gerald Ford?
No, Jesse, again, I think I got shadow banned from trivia. Jesse hasn't outwardly said that I can't, but he hasn't allowed me to write a trivia question in a while.
Oh, okay. So the sports weekend recap, the Brewers, maybe I can't read the question, so maybe I shouldn't say anything. What caller would you like?
Since the Brewers have won 7 in a row, let's go caller number 7.
All right, caller 7 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 7 right now plays trivia after Tausch tells us about Coors Light.
Oh, you know it, whether you're tailgating pregame, enjoying your experience during the game, celebrating a big win, a graduation, or you just need a moment to chill. Crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. It's brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged, so it is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company at Golden, Colorado.
Tausch and Hunter play trivia next. Caller 7, 844-770-3776. Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. And you know I've loved Pizza Hut going back to the days when I was a kid participating in their legendary Book It program. It was great then, and it's great making new memories with my family now. Between basketball and baseball and hockey, there is a big game on just about every night this time of the year. And Pizza Hut is the perfect addition to your game day viewing experience. Whether it's a night in on your own or you're having the whole crew over to watch it all together, stock up with some original stuffed crust pizza, wings with your favorite flavor sauces, or a bunch of other delicious options that Pizza Hut has to offer. And right now, Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites, complete with 3 bold new dips in the Ranch Lover's Flight. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is our crew.
Abreu's going back and watching it sail. It's a grand slam. Oh, my goodness, Christian Yelich.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply at 6/30/2025. To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
ESPN Madison is proud to partner with Mentoring Positives for our 3rd annual ESPN Madison Open. Mentoring Positives is a nonprofit based right here in Madison and is dedicated to uplifting youth and families through mentoring, athletics, and youth entrepreneurship. As a trusted presence in the community, Mentoring Positives has been helping young people build confidence, leadership, and purpose for 20 years. They're changing lives right here in our community. Visit mentoringpositives.org to make your impact today. That's mentoringpositives.org.
ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see the teams recognized for making a positive impact in the community. It's the Game Changers of the Month, presented by Zimbrick Honda.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
If you're considering solar energy, Suite of Metal Roofing and solar panels go hand in hand.
Solar panels install effortlessly over metal, and it enhances the efficiency of your solar energy.
Before you go solar,
install a Suite of Metal roof.
I'm Mike.
And Mary Suita. Enjoy the long-lasting architectural strength and beauty of a Suite of Metal roof.
SWITA metalroofing.com.
Suite of Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Welcome back into Wilde and Tausch. Jason, I think, has become an Uber driver going to pick up his family. I don't even know where his kids were, if they went on another vacation without him. He never really specified that, but he is going to be back here in a little bit. But we have trivia, and Hunter, I know we're disappointed you didn't write your Gerald Ford stuff or any other presidential trivia, but we are excited because still that great gift package from our friends at Vortex Golf. And Tim, correct, in Madison is our contestant today. Good morning, Tim.
Morning.
How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Hunter, do we have big voice guy, or do you have to be big voice guy to tell what Tim is trying to get, which is this great gift package from our friends at Vortex?
Oh, we've got the big voice guy right here.
Oh, he's back. Let's hear it.
Or I guess not. There was nothing
All
there.
right,
Never
we
mind.
don't.
But
okay, well, we'll hear it later.
It's a prize package from Vortex Golf. Didn't know that wasn't there.
All right, good stuff. All right, Tim, hopefully your trivia goes better than this. And here we go. Golfer Scotty Scheffler won his 3rd PGA Tour event since May 4th, yesterday, at the Memorial. Entering today, which Major League Baseball team has also won 3 times in that same amount? Is it the Colorado Rockies, Chicago White Sox, or no joke answer here? Just a reminder from Hunter to Tausch to put his lid on his Quick Trip coffee during the show. Smart.
What were the first 2 choices?
The White Sox or the Rockies?
I know the White Sox have been bad, but I think they've been doing all right lately. I'm going to say the White Sox.
No, the Colorado Rockies have not gotten to 10 wins yet. I think we're 2 months plus into the season. The fact that Scotty Scheffler, who plays golf, and you can only win once a week, has the same amount of wins as the Colorado Rockies do is I think the Rockies need to be relegated, but that's a story for another day. So unfortunately, that is incorrect. Hunter, go ahead with question 2.
Question number 2. Which player was named the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals after the Indiana Pacers eliminated the New York Knicks in Game 6 on Saturday night? Was it Tyrese Halliburton?
Siakam.
Nicely done.
Way to go.
Boy, that was fun to see. That was fun to see when Halliburton thought he won. And by the way, probably should have won the player and the MVP for that series. He walked up and had to do that kind of flinch back when Pascal Siakam got it. So well done there, Tim. Let's finish strong with LPGA Tour golfer Maya Stark. Won the Women's U.S. Open, played at Erin Hills this weekend. She is a native of which European country? Is she Swiss? Is she a Swede? Or is she a Scottish?
Not much of a golfer.
Tough question.
I'm going to say she's a Swede.
You nailed it. Well done. I would not have gotten that. I had no clue. I did know that golf was out at Erin Hills. Great golf course. Awesome that we had another big championship out there. Hopefully we'll get some other big ones coming back. But you got 2 out of 3, Tim. So you'll get 3 out of the possible 4 entries. The rare get the first one wrong, get the last 2 right combo. And you're eligible to win this fantastic package from Vortex Golf on Friday. Tim, thanks for joining us as always.
Thank you. Love you guys.
I love you guys.
You bet. Yeah, that was funny when Pascal Siakam got that MVP. I watched some of the game. By the way, Reggie Miller. Matt LePay was getting after me a little bit. He's calling me an old curmudgeon. You can't have the guy doing color analysis. It's like if Wisconsin's winning and I'm somehow fortunate to be like on Big Ten Network doing the game. I shouldn't be up there announcing the game for a national audience when obviously I want Wisconsin to win. So I felt like that was a little. I don't know what you do different. He was way too Indiana pro heavy, and then he's handing out the award after. I didn't like any of it. I just didn't, and that makes me a curmudgeon. I'm a curmudgeon.
Aren't there 2 different ways? Because like Kirk Herbstreit went to Ohio State. He does a bunch of the Ohio State games, and he's fine. Or
maybe I'm just not a Reggie. Maybe I'm just not a Reggie fan. He's complaining. Guy goes up for a layup and he wants him to call an offensive foul. He got hacked. And Reggie Miller would flail around, shooting threes, kicking his legs out. I didn't like it. I thought it was too. He is the greatest player in the history of Indiana basketball. The Indiana Pacers. He is the GOAT of Indiana Pacers basketball, and he has a big affinity, and he loves, and he should. It's a big part of his life. I just felt like you put him in a position where he's not going to win. And I don't think I was the only one. I think I was probably harsh, but I think I was fair with my critique on that. I'll also be fair when we will be playing a little game of Where's Wilde? We will do that next on Wilde and Tausch.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Mark Tauscher, and if you know me, you know I love our home teams, like the Brewers and UW Credit Union. And now, when you open a rewards checking account at any UW Credit Union branch by June 6th, you get 2 Brewers tickets for an upcoming game. Plus, enjoy all the best rewards like early payday and cash back on credit card purchases. Visit any UW Credit Union branch or uwcu.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Their Memorial Day sale has been extended. Last chance to save 10% off store-wide and take advantage of Steinhoffels' 18-month 0% financing only at Steinhoffels.
Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh made an appearance on Wilde And Tausch Friday morning and made sure to clarify that despite all the changes in the world of college athletics, Wisconsin's non-revenue generating generating sports are here to stay.
I can't miss an opportunity to reiterate that while I can empathize with participants in Olympic sports around the uncertainty and the fear right now, because there are programs that are being eliminated around the country, that is not on the table for us, and it hasn't been from the start.
What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Pella has a product line for every budget.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com, because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Ready to roll, ready to rock, ready to give it all I got. Gotta live to win, get up, get even. Ready to roll, ready to rock, ready to give it.
Where's Wilde? He's right here. We don't need to play Where's Wilde. I'm here now.
Where's Wilde?
Brought to you by Vortex Golf. Rangefinders you can bet on. We still don't have Big Voice Guy.
Where's Wilde's brought to you by Vortex Golf now?
No,
too?
but I wanted to give them an extra pop after the way that unfolded, because I was listening.
Yeah, didn't know that wasn't there anymore.
It wasn't great.
So So Jesse lost Big Voice Guy for Vortex Golf, but the button is still there.
Yeah. Didn't know that.
If you're not Jesse, you don't know that the button doesn't work. So, sorry, Hunter. I'm sorry that we put you in that position. All right, Tausch, have you gotten your assignment?
What's my assignment?
Who you're playing with. You're going to leave in about a minute here to go play in the Pro-Am. You still don't know your partner?
Yet. No, I'll find out. I'll let you know tomorrow who it is.
Okay. Well, you've got that coming up, but you're going to stick around for a little while longer. What am I doing? We'll get to the 11 o'clock hour, which will include some conversation back on the Packers of Elton Jenkins and where that situation stands. So that is how we will kick off the 11 o'clock hour, which we will do in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Listen live and on demand to all of your favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows at the touch of a fingertip. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Download the all-new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple and Android app stores today. The Milwaukee Brewers have won 7 in a row, and they swept back-to-back teams after a 5-2 win over the Philadelphia Phillies Sunday afternoon. While the offense is showing out, scoring 5+ runs in 6 consecutive games, the Brew Crew has also made some highlight reel plays on defense.
0-1 to Real Muto is ground ball back up the middle, played with a slide by Ortiz, throws to first, and Hoskins with the stretch. Goodness, what a play by Joey Ortiz. Oh man, highlight reel from the Brewers shortstop. Absolutely phenomenal.
Milwaukee continues their road trip, starting a 3-game series at the Cincinnati Reds tonight. Aaron Savali is on the bump for the Brew Crew. First pitch at 6:10 on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde And Tausch begins now, and it begins with one of our favorite guys. Not Tausch, although it begins with him as well, but with Elgton Jenkins. Tausch, that's fair, right? He's one of our favorite guys.
I would think from the current guys on this team, yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
And as has been reported by me and others, he has not been taking part in the offseason program, not Phase 1 or Phase 2, was not at the OTA that we attended last week, another OTA this week. I predict he will not be there. Jacob Monk has been working at center. Sean Ryan has also gotten reps at center. So he's another alternative there, but obviously the entire shuffling is predicated in part on moving Elgton Jenkins to center. Tausch, before we hear what Jordan Love had to say, I've said this before, we've talked about it, the idea of players don't have much leverage other than withholding their services. The fact that they have planned their offensive line around Elgton moving to center, because remember, they lost 2 offensive linemen to injuries and had 2 guys play poorly in Elgton's place, and Jacob Monk, who was active, still didn't play in that playoff game. Does that give Elgton any improved chance of getting what he wants, which is not new money, just guaranteeing some of the money that's already on his contract?
I mean, I think just like when, we talked last week about City getting cut surprisingly, they don't do that if they don't have somebody lined up, Blaine Taylor, that they thought could go in and play, and maybe not play as well. They obviously want Elgton to be there, and I'll be shocked if they don't figure something out. But as far as how much leverage, I think it gives you a little bit. But if Elton thinks he is going to, break the bank and get everything he wants, no. But this is one of those perfect scenarios where, all right, we want you here. We want to make sure you feel good about it. We're going to, do some things. And ironically, I think this is going to end up being probably less money on an annual, average, but a lot more in guarantees and giving yourself an opportunity. Because from Elton's standpoint, I think we can all sit here and say, well, this is what it should look like. He's under contract. Well, no. I mean, he is going to be asked to play a new position as an older player on a team that doesn't give out a lot of contracts to older people. This is his shot to try and get some security. So I get where he's coming from. And if I'm a, Packer front office guy, I'm like, well, let's see how this goes. Well, that's great if you can pull that off, but that's why Elton's doing what he is doing. So there's easy solutions here. They want Elton. Elton wants to play center, and you have just revamped a whole group. Elton Jenkins is still really good. This is not a case where he's a broken down, washed up player. He still is a good player. So figuring that piece of it out, I think, is going to be probably a little bit tricky. But in the grand scheme of things, we played this leverage game with Joe Douglas a while ago. There isn't this isn't like one guy's holding the hammer and the other's not. They want him to play. He wants to play. It should be an easy solution.
Right, and he doesn't want to break the bank. I think it's important to emphasize that, right? If he did, then you're right. It's not an easy solution. But I don't even think he wants new money. I think he just wants some of the money that's there to be guaranteed so he has some measure of security. So what are the drawbacks then of him not participating in OTAs when they are trying to configure their offensive line? Obviously, they've brought in Aaron Banks and paid him big money, break the bank money. They are competing at the other three spots. So is that, well, allegedly.
I get it.
How does that affect the process of getting to know each other? Well, we asked Jordan Love that, and we also asked Jordan Love if he needs to work with a new center, because this will be someone different than Josh Myers snapping to him. Here is how Jordan Love answered that question.
Yeah, I'd say, for Elton, I have no doubt that he'd be able to step in and be a great center. He's the most experienced guy we have in the O-line room. He definitely knows all the calls and everything he has to do. I'd say, just getting on the same page with snaps. We've got a good amount of snaps going banked in the tank to be able to go forward. But with that QB center exchange, we work that every day. So that's something that once he gets back out here, we'll have to keep working, keep getting on the same page with, because you just want to be as comfortable as possible with that center quarterback exchange and everything we do, under center, gun. So I know Elton will be able to step in and play center. He can play any position on the O-line at a high level. We know what he's about, so there's no doubt about that. But definitely just with that center quarterback exchange, we'd love to have him here and just be working on that. Something we're going to have to work on when he gets back.
Banked in the tank, Tausch. They've got a lot of snaps banked in the tank. Is that a challenge, A, for Love, and B, for the other guys on the offensive line?
Obviously, you want to get all those reps, and I think from Jordan's standpoint, you want to have such a comfortability with your center's tuchus that you know everything about it. And that's not to be weird. It's just that's the reality. You want to know when he's got a reach block to his right, how that snap's going to come, because you can't have any of those quarterback center exchange. And usually that happens early in camp, and coaches go crazy, and then everybody settles in, and it's not a thing. And you want to make sure you get that worked out. So would it be better if you start feeling that way in OTAs and in minicamp? Sure. But really, doing that with pads on is a whole different animal anyways. You're going to go through this process. I couldn't be less concerned about an OTA or minicamp with Elton. Elton's been here. He's been around. I want him in the beginning of camp. I want him to go through the bumbled snap, maybe a missed snap or two, maybe a miss, reaching hard to his left, this, snapping out of the gun, all of those things with pads on, when you have to reach a nose, when you have to, get over there and get a one technique. That's what the concern level would be. And then obviously you want to get how you're going to work combo blocks with your new left guard, with your right guard, whoever that's going to end up being. Those are the things. And then understanding with your quarterback the protection adjustments and how you're going to call those out and how you're going to get everybody lined. That's really what it is. And even though training camp is going to be obviously cut back and a lot less, that's still the concern level that you probably have. You're going to have time. You're going to get it. This little period of time here, normally you want everybody there, no doubt. This is going to be a big old nothing burger if and when they do figure out what this will look like for Elton and his contract moving forward.
All right, 2 questions that I don't think I've ever asked you. One, at any point in your football journey, Pee-wees, high school, college, NFL, did you ever play a snap at center?
I snapped a bunch in practice. I never took I think I probably did in JV, or I probably played a little bit of center, but that was never my spot. But I can remember Rodgers being a little irritated when I would take center snaps and I was sweaty. He didn't like it. And I normally would do that. I'd wear a sweat jacket just to make it uncomfortable for him. Make it worse. And with Brett, Brett never really, that was never something we ever dabbled with. But early in my career, when I was a rookie, I tried to play every spot I could. And it was just, center was one of them. But in a game action, that never came to fruition.
And then, so you got extra sweaty for Rodgers because he didn't like that. Didn't he talk about the, was it Corey Linsley that he talked about? That he was concerned about the level of sweating, or maybe it was Evan Dietrich Smith. I don't remember. The other thing
it is a thing. I mean, obviously that's why there's towels, and you start getting into, especially early game. You go down to Miami in September, October. There's you don't want. I'm not gonna give any quotable things here. You know, wet ball drills and all the other stuff. Those are things that you obviously have to be able to function with, and you'd like to keep it as dry as you can for everybody involved.
Sweaty butts. All right, so the other thing I've never understood, and I don't think I've ever actually asked why this is, and maybe you don't know, but the fact that the center, I mean, we talked about with Elton, and I still didn't ask, so I don't know what took me so long, but he's moving to a lower paid position from left guard to center. Why are centers the lowest paid position on the line? I feel like they have a lot of responsibilities between touching the ball every snap and making sure you don't screw up the snap. You have to block somebody and do another activity, which is snapping the ball. You have the responsibilities of surveying the field and making protection adjustments, especially if you have a young quarterback like Josh Myers did early in Jordan Love's time as a starter. Why is that? Is it just allegedly easier to play? What would Scott Wells and Corey Linsley and Frankie Bag of Donuts tell us, other than that they were underpaid?
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. Center is the most important position.
Right.
You have to get line calls. You have to snap. Nothing happens if you don't get your job done. Now, your right tackle can miss a block and you can still make a throw. Center doesn't get the snap up, or the center doesn't do it. So I think the reason would be you're not asked to block someone in the pass protection game one-on-one, hardly ever. I think that if you're asking me why people value things the way they do, I would think that would be part of the equation. But as far as why all that other stuff goes, I have always been an advocate. When Flanny was doing it, when Scotty Wells was doing it, it is a hard job. And especially when you have tackles yelling in, where are you declaring in the middle of it, and you got 6 seconds left on the shot on the game clock, and or the play clock, and you got to get that done. It is a stressful position, and the guys have to stay calm. They have to understand it, and that's why when you get a veteran that's really good, you hold on to him, because it's a critical. Obviously, it's a critical spot, and that's why Elton Jenkins understands that. That's why he's embracing it, and that's why the Packers eventually will end up making him as happy as possible without breaking the bank.
Well, we'll talk more about the offensive line shuffle, because I did have a conversation with Josh Jacobs about how that might affect what he's trying to do. We'll talk about that a little bit later after we talk about Quick Trip. I'm assuming on your way to TPC, Wisconsin, you stopped at a Quick Trip to get yourself a cup of coffee.
Always, I'm craving that fresh coffee. I got my Karuba. I grabbed that on my way over. If you wanted a tasty bakery treat, whatever it might be, apps, Quick Trip's got you covered. And chicken, they're serving up their legendary, no ordinary chicken, juicy chicken tenders, or boneless wings that are hand-breaded, fried to perfection, and ready to go. Grab Quick Trip's crispy chicken sandwich, perfect for a quick bite. Plus, you get an 8-piece fried chicken meal that'll feed the whole crew. The legend on your plate and flavor that rules the roost. But that's not the only deal going on. Kitchen Cravings, 5-ounce sirloin beef steak, sizzling, 2 for $4. Nature's Touch American cheese singles, 12-ounce packages for $1.99, and you get Nature's Touch milk for just $1.99 a gallon. Head on over to Quick Trip, get quick rewards on every visit. Plus, you can order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip. We'll see you next time.
I kind of like the new read. There's some clever little phrases in there. I kind of like that. Tausch will roll on from TPC, Wisconsin. We have him for one more segment, and then he will hit the links. Before he can do that, I do want to talk about one of the conversations we had with Josh Jacobs last week. I'll save the bigger offensive lineman, less yards after contact for tomorrow when I write about it at channel3000.com. We'll talk about the resurgence of running backs next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Well, with the end of the postseasons for basketball and hockey now in sight, preparations for summer travel are ramping up. And whether that means weekend travel for sports around the state or big vacation plans driving around the country, make sure your vehicle is ready for every challenge by checking in with the fantastic service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Tune-ups, battery checks, oil changes, and tire rotations are all part of the regular maintenance your vehicle may need to avoid any issues that could be road trip ruiners. A stop to see the service team at Zimbrick Chevy before you go means more focusing on things to see and places to eat, and less worrying about the inner workings of your vehicle. Call or click to schedule a service appointment before your summer road trip with the great team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Check them out online at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Zimbrick Chevrolet, the name you can trust.
You remember the moments from that magical March.
Outside Decker. It's a 3. Got it! Dagger!
On June 26th at the Orpheum Theater, relive the excitement with the squad that made him believe. A special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky, the drop stab,
that's his favorite.
And the 2.
Made him believe. Supported by Event Essentials, Bruner Realty, Gordon Flesh, and Park Bank. Get your tickets today at uwhoops2015.com.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
The greatest show on dirt is charging through Wisconsin. Saturday, June 7th, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars invade Beaver Dam Raceway's grand finale for the Jim J.B. Boyd Memorial, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Then it's a Sunday special on June 8th when the Outlaws race to Angel Park for the first time since 2016. Gates open at 4 p.m. Tickets at slspromotions.com. Be there.
Siding Unlimited recently installed 20 brand new amazing energy efficient windows. Our Siding Unlimited crew removed the old windows, inspected the wall for wood rot, installed the new beautiful windows, and cleaned up behind ourselves. It was easy to get started. The homeowner met us at our amazing showroom on 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. Trust me, our showroom is a must-see. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Breese Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Wilde and Tausch rolls on with Tausch at TPC Wisconsin, and me in Green Bay, where we'll have an OTA tomorrow. But before we get to that, we had a conversation last week with Josh Jacobs on a myriad of topics. And Tausch, you're old school, right? When you were down on the farm kicking field goals between the silos, what running back did you and your brothers pretend to be?
Oh, man, I would think Gary Ellis was one.
Eddie Lee Ivory.
31 high pads. Eddie Lee Ivory. I think Brent Fullwood was, drafted 87, 88? Somewhere
I think he was
area?
89.
Okay, so he was another guy that I can remember. But Gary Ellis, he ran real upright. And then, those were kind of the cats that, and obviously as I got older, we moved off the farm, et cetera, et cetera. But that was kind of the crew that I recall.
So I would say that Josh Jacobs is a throwback for a number of reasons, including he and his dad would watch all these old, on YouTube, because he didn't have a VHS tape recorder, he would watch all the old school running backs. Walter Payton was one of his favorites. So we were talking last year about that, and then it's been interesting to see the evolution in just the last...
Is Walter Payton our, from a Packer fan standpoint, is he the Bear that we most respect?
Yes, gotta be, right?
I would think so, right? I mean, Ditka was somebody I think everybody kind of had a little hate. I think you respected him, but you hated him. I don't think Packer fans hated Walter Payton. I mean, Walter Payton was just a beast. I think you respected his talent.
And you got it's probably the way Bears fans felt about Favre, right? Like, you hated that he kept beating you, but you respected the heck out of him, and you wished you had him.
Yeah, I think that those are fair assessments. Yeah, obviously all those great defensive players that, but yeah, all right. I think we're on the same page on that.
So we were talking. I just think it's so wild that, like, there was a time where running back was, if not the glamour position, because it was still about quarterbacks, it was up there, right? Like, when I used to get the J.C. Penney catalog every year before Christmas and look at jerseys that I could ask Santa for, I got a Walter Payton one. Like, those were the ones that most teams had as their, like, most identifiable player besides their quarterback. And then we went through this phase where nobody wanted to pay running backs. And now, Saquon Barkley helped carry his team to a Super Bowl title. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs made a huge impact on his team in his first year. So we asked him if he thought that there's been a shift back to valuing the running back position. Here is what Josh had to say.
Having talked to you about you and your dad watching old videos of all the guys Rob just mentioned, does it surprise you? I mean, it was 2 years ago that the Raiders were franchise tagging you because they didn't want to make a long-term commitment to a running back.
Yeah.
Is it surprising to you how it's turned as quickly as it has?
Yeah, because I feel like, when I was coming out and it was my turn, like, I don't want to say nobody's names, but a lot of guys before me that got paid on their second contract kind of like it was kind of up in the air, like what they did. Either they got hurt or they didn't play seasons and things like that. So that kind of affected everybody. But, like, now the guys, like you say, you look at Derrick Henry, you look at Saquon, you look at Joe Mixon. These guys are on their second, third contracts, and they still balling. And I think that played a big factor into it.
So here's the thing that I love about that. I love Josh Jacobs, man. He tried not to say anything too derogatory, but he's talking about all those running backs who got paid and then weren't productive, ruining the market for them. Right? That's what he's saying.
Well, he is saying that, but let's not kid ourselves. The league had made its mind up that guys were replaceable, and now you're seeing Saquon. He's shown he's not replaceable. You ask the New York Giants, and I still think a vast majority of NFL teams, Saquon is one. There are not many Saquons. I think Josh Jacobs had a great year last year, but the proof's going to be in the pudding.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to go put up a big boy year this year, and if he thinks he's going to get 20 plus like Saquon from the Packers, I think he's going to be sorely mistaken.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And his contract is also basically this is last year of that deal.
You're right
I know
about
he's got
that
a couple
too.
years left, but they got a big boy number, and they're going to have to revamp it. And Josh Jacobs is talking. Everything's great when you're humming along and you're having big boy numbers. Let's say he sprains an ankle and misses 6 weeks, and I hope that doesn't happen.
Breaks a chin strap.
Well, no, I'm saying like his production, like running backs get hurt.
I know.
And so I'll be curious how this season plays out for this. Running backs, especially when you start getting into, what is Jacobs, 28, 29, something like that?
He's only 27 right now.
All right, he's 27. So he's got a 2 or 3 year window, and he's going to need to maximize every dollar. And listening to what he had to say, he obviously is going to want to break the bank his next time around. And it'll be this off season. So hopefully he balls out, has a year, wins a Super Bowl, and they Saquonize him. That would be awesome. And if they don't do that, and he doesn't have that kind of year, and all of a sudden Marshawn Lloyd has a good year, and maybe somebody else emerges, you think the Packers are going to say, you know what, Josh, you've been good. Even though you had a little bit of a down year, we still want to pay you Saquon Barkley type money, which is what he's going to want. I think we all know how that story ends. So this is a big year for everybody. I think it's a really big year for Josh Jacobs, too.
That's a really good point. I do think it's interesting, though, that the Raiders didn't want to pay him, and then what did they go out and do? They drafted a running back in the first round. So they clearly have changed their tune a little bit on the importance of running back.
I disagree. You draft a guy, you get him 5 years in his prime, and this dude is the real deal. Ashton Genty isn't some run-of-the-mill running back. He should have won the Heisman probably, and they are thinking he's got special. He's got special qualities to have. So I get it, but let's not try to conflate both of those things because that's not. I don't think that's an accurate assessment.
Really good pushback by you on this topic. Really, really good. You're ruining the angle that I was thinking about writing by doing it. But you don't.
Just trying to keep it honest.
Well, you're doing a great job. All right. We will say goodbye to you as the birds chirp. Hit them straight. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy. Thanks.
You bet.
That is Mark Tauscher. He's headed to the Lynx. You should head to Associated Bank and make the switch to the best bank of the business. They've got the awards to prove it in terms of customer service. If you want Packers checking or Badgers checking or Brewers checking, great. Be wonderful. But what you really want is their great customer service with early pay, fraud protection, credit monitoring, everything you need to make sure your finances are in place. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. More Wilde And Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde And Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at PizzaHut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the
championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973, and they're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether it's the sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none and has exactly what you're looking for. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue, Honda's first all-electric SUV, or browse their selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on June 17th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in June 17th at 7:05 on WISC TV in Madison, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Hey, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network, and I've got a question for you. Is your home ready to shine this season? Whether it's roofing, siding, or windows, Ridgetop Exteriors is the name you can trust. For over 20 years, Ridgetop Exteriors has been Wisconsin's favorite for roofing, and they bring that same expertise to siding and windows. Imagine vibrant, low-maintenance siding and energy-efficient windows that brighten your home while cutting energy costs. Ridgetop Exteriors holds all expert-level installation credentials with the leading manufacturers, including Pella, James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, and LP SmartSide Engineered Wood Siding. With thousands of 5-star reviews and a commitment to excellence, they're the clear choice for home improvement needs. Plus, consultations and estimates are always free, so there's no reason to wait. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com to schedule your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, putting customers first every time.
Ridgetop Exteriors is the place for you.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. I've been telling you for years how great Door County Distillery is. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. The sun is shining, and so can the Rock Island Rum from Door County Distillery in your summertime cocktail. Otherwise, vodkas, gins, whiskeys, brandies, and more, it's all available from the award-winning Door County Distillery. Find a huge list of unique cocktail recipes and the retailer nearest you, DoorCountyDistillery.com. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com.
This is our crew.
First pitch to Jackson Churio. Driven left center. See you later.
Hear the sound of summer right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
'Cause I'm a hazard to myself.
We bid farewell to Old T. Hopefully he gets a playing partner in the Pro-Am, because Lord knows he's not the pro. Before we get to Woe Hunter, let's take a quick call from our discussion earlier about leadership and Favre and Rodgers and where love is in that space-time continuum. Let's go to John, the horse trainer. John, giddy up. What do you got for us?
Well, hey, I appreciate you taking my call, Jason. This is a hot take, man. You know, we sit here and compare Rodgers and Jordan Love and Brett Favre kind of all, Jordan's in his first 2 years, so it's kind of a little unfair. But, man, just get this, Jason. You look at both Favre and Rodgers' first 2 years, and you put Jordan Love statistically in that argument, he finishes in the middle between those two. For example, Jordan Love's completion percentage is 63.7. Favre's Aaron Rodgers 64, Favre 62. Right, lands in the middle. Passing yards first 2 years, Jordan Love 7,500 yards, Rodgers 8,000, Favre 6,000. Jordan Love touchdowns 57, Rodgers 58, Favre 37. Now the interceptions goes way up for Favre. That's 37. Aaron Rodgers 20, Jordan Love 22. He just lands right in the middle of those two. So I think the best case scenario and the most fun I've had watching this guy play is when he looks a little Favre-ian and when he looks a little bit like Aaron Rodgers. And at the end of the day, we've seen flashes of both. I'm not saying he's going to get to those guys' level, but we've seen it. And statistically, the facts are the facts. So I just wanted to share that with you because I enjoyed listening to that conversation today.
Yeah, and you're right, John. We kind of dovetailed into where they are as players, but I think the issue is, at least when Tausch was playing with Favre was obviously well established, right? He'd won his 3 MVPs. He didn't play with Favre during those early years. He was there for Rodgers' early years, and then he was an analyst thereafter watching Rodgers from afar, and he was appearing on the show, etc. But, yeah, look, if Tausch was here, he would quote Natasha Bedingfield, right? It's still unwritten when it comes to Jordan Love. And I think this is a really pivotal season for him. I want to see what he does. And by the way, on an unrelated note, while we were talking about the Packers' offensive line, some breaking news from the NFL and a team that won the division, the NFC North, the last 2 years. Frank Ragnow, the Lions' 4-time Pro Bowl center, has announced his retirement. Was this something that was expected, Hunter?
I wasn't expecting it. He's only 29. Like, it feels like there's more linemen that are doing this, though. They get closer to that 30, and then they're like, yeah, I'm kind of good. Like, I was not expecting him. I figured he would play a few more years if you're going to deep dive into the Lions. Like, with their window right now and the talent that they have, you would think he would have been a guy that'd be that centerpiece for them on that O-line still, going to try and make a run to a Super Bowl. Like, this was really surprising.
So he says in his post on Instagram announcing his retirement, I've tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not. And it's time to prioritize my health and my family's future. I have given this team everything I have, and I thought I had more to give, but the reality is I simply don't. I have to listen to my body, and this has been one of the hardest decisions of my life. Now, again, I don't know anything about his contract. I don't know if there was any other things underlying to this. I will say this. He is definitely, to your point, Hunter, not the first young offensive lineman to say, all right, I've made enough money. I'm done getting my body beat up. I'm calling it a career. So that is not unprecedented. That's for sure.
Well, and when guys talk that way, it always just reminds me of Favre and like how much people would get frustrated with the back and forth of it. But I think, for Frank here, he got to a point in the offseason where he's like, I kind of like this. I'm not having to do anything, and probably got into a couple of practices and was like, I don't want to keep doing this. Like, this isn't what I want to do anymore. I don't have the joy in it anymore, and that like love to show up and have to grind and beat myself up just to get myself ready to get beat up even worse in a game. Like, I think that's the part that people forget, is that it isn't just the like, oh, they'll go out there and they play on Sundays. Like, you get beat up in practice, and it's a grind just to get yourself ready for the more physical part of the game.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do, because obviously this happened after June 1st, and it's not as bad as if he had retired heading into training camp, but they obviously will have to do some juggling now on their offensive line. Speaking of juggling, we've done it all day, and it's time now for Whoa Hunter.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
on Wilde And Tausch.
Jason, you went and picked up the family from the airport, and you and I brought this up to you off the air, and I want to bring it on the air. It was about 2 months ago now. My wife and sister-in-law went on a trip, and when they were coming back, my wife gave me a time for picking them up. My assumption was that that was the time that their flight would be landing. So then in my mind, I'm like, okay, 10, 15 minutes to get off the plane, about 5 to 10 minutes to get their luggage then at the Dane County Airport. Like, okay, I've got enough time. This is when I can leave the office here in Madison. Nope. She gave me the time she wanted to be picked up and expected to be outside of the airport. Like, is that crazy behavior? Like, don't you just give the time that the flight lands and then you let people get there and get to the cell phone lot if you're getting picked up?
Well, let me ask you this. In 2025, aren't you tracking the flights in the app so you know?
No. Didn't know that was a thing.
So Paula and the girls were on Delta, so I had the app, and I saw that their flight took off early, and then it was landing, obviously, significantly early. They did not enjoy waiting for me to pick them up, by the way, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Sent a few pictures of me being very disappointed. I think they were overacting a little bit. But be that as it may, so I knew our plan for me departing and then coming back was going to be challenged. So, but at least I knew what time they were landing early. So did they land on time? Your wife gave you the time for pickup, and you showed up at the time she said to pick her up, right?
I showed up at that time, actually a little bit after it, assuming that, okay, I've got that like 25-minute window.
Because you thought it was the landing time.
Yes. So now, anytime, like, she's had back-to-back work trips, and I had to ask her both times, like, okay, is that the landing time, or is that your expected, like, pickup time? And it has become a whole thing now. And I feel like I was vilified for something that, like, I would just tell people, this is when I land. Like, let them figure it out.
That's fair. I'm going to recommend to you that you start tracking flights for future reference.
Be a good millennial and actually get an app and like actually use technology.
I think that I again, if you want to be old school, I get you. I got it. I understand. But probably a little bit on you. But I don't understand why she would give you a time that she wants you to pick her up at. That is an interesting angle.
My wife is very type A. She's an event planner, like, so for her, like, that just makes sense of just like, yeah, this is when I want you to be here. Like, just get here then. So it makes sense for her personality. I'm just not wired that way. So then it was just that crossing of the way we communicate with each other. So we used it as use some coach speak. It was a good teaching moment for us as a team. We had a conversation, a players only meeting, and we figured things out, and we're moving forward.
Well, I would say that you will take a valuable lesson from me today, and you will make sure that you use an app for future reference.
Every single time.
Whoa, Nelly!
There's some rumors that Bobby Portis will be signing his player option and coming back to the Bucks. Is that a good sign that maybe Giannis is coming back too?
Are those? Do you believe any of those things are related?
I think that Giannis wants his guys around him similarly to Aaron Rodgers. It makes, again, that grind of the season, that tough work, especially if you're not going to have Dame, a little bit more tolerable if it's guys you enjoy being around for the 82-game season.
I am very curious if this is a good thing. I mean, look, I think it's a good thing regardless, right? I think it's a good thing because he is one of Giannis's guys. It all makes sense that way. Whether or not it has any influence, though, I'm not sure about that, right? I mean, well, I'm still not convinced. I think Homer did a very good job of warning us to try and make sure that you watched Giannis in case he left, and he got a lot of grief for that, which I actually thought was a reasonable take. He never said he's definitely leaving. Enjoy him in case he does. And then there's the conversations about him possibly leaving. So I think Homer was right on that. Now, if he stays, great.
Homer says things sometimes in a way where I think if you don't really listen to what he's saying and you only hear him, you're like, oh, that man's a lunatic. But if you actually listen to it and you process what he's saying, you're like, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm in the camp of, I think it's in the best, as weird as this is, it's in the best interest of the Bucks to trade Giannis and get something before he leaves as a free agent. I would rather them try and make a move to be good long-term after Giannis than just be like, okay, he's gone, and I guess now we have $50 million to try and spend. So I get the idea of trying to trade him. I want any good news because he's just so much fun to watch, and I just want him to be in Milwaukee forever.
So from what I'm seeing, the genesis of this was Jim Ozarski from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, who is their beat writer for the Bucks, did a Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and he said in there, I wrote early on I thought Bobby would be a sign-and-trade candidate after an opt-out, but the more I'm hearing is he may be more likely to opt in. And if that were to occur, I think that actually gives them, not only does it give them the flexibility of having a guy that we think Giannis likes. I mean, I don't know the Bucks' interactions that well, so I'm not going to pretend that I know their relationship in and out. But it does give them flexibility if they did want to trade him too, I suppose, if they're trying to get more assets, or different assets, I should say. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It's been quiet now, and now we're into the finals. So I wonder what the next kind of Giannis freak shoe to drop will be and what kind of attention it gets.
Oh, it's going to get a ton of attention. I mean, on Mr. Irrelevant, we're breaking down the song lyrics to his Instagram posts because we're just trying to get any sign of what he might do.
That seems healthy.
Nelly! Oh, yeah, it's totally normal, Jason. One last one here. Luke Fickell over the weekend got 3 commits, all 3 of them on the defensive side, 2 D linemen and a linebacker, the linebacker from Appleton North High School. That's got to be a good sign. Again, trying to just get any positives I can here. It's a good sign if we've got an in-state kid committing to Wisconsin, a 3-star linebacker who had some other Big Ten schools that were interested. If he's coming to Wisconsin and saying, yep, I believe in what they're doing there, I'm going to sign with the Badgers.
Yeah, look, I love it when and Barry Alvarez was the first one to say it, right, to build a wall around the state. I just, I look back on our conversation with Chris McIntosh on Friday from the Legends golf outing at University Ridge, and I think about what Fickell told us when he was on a couple months ago about them having a better understanding of how to approach NIL. We still don't have the final decision, though, on what that format's going to look like. We don't know when we're going to get that. Hunter, it's great. An Appleton North kid staying in state. That's a good thing. He might have stayed if you were the head coach at Wisconsin, though, right? I mean, he might have. It may be just, I want to be a Badger. There's plenty of kids that are like that. But good, you're right. If you're seeking a positive thing, that would be one of them. So revel in it all you like.
Whoa, Nelly! You know what? We've got enough time real quick. Just one last thing, and of course, Tyrese Halliburton, it looked like he thought he won the Eastern Conference Final MVP, and then it turned out to be Pascal Siakam as Tyrese kind of took a step forward. That's got to be one of the most embarrassing things, right? To have that on video.
I saw this on social media yesterday. So that is what happened, right? I mean, it sure looks like it.
Yeah, there's no other reason for him to be like doing the like hand gesture dance kind of thing and then take like a half step forward and then not hear his name and then he stops and his like facial expression changed. Like, he absolutely thought that he was winning it. Now, granted, turned out they showed the voting, and he was 1 vote off from getting it. That's how close it was. But, yeah, he absolutely thought he was getting it. So now forever, he's going to have that embarrassing moment of, I thought I was the finals MVP, but I actually wasn't.
Now, should he have been instead of Pascal Siakam?
Maybe. Like, I understand why Siakam got it. Like, it makes sense, but it's still funny. And, like, I love that Tyrese is a Oshkosh North kid and a Wisconsin guy. Like, I still kind of root for him, but all the stuff with his dad, like, it made me chuckle, and I kind of felt good in that painful, awkward moment from him.
That is it for Woe Hunter. We have an update from Jesse Nelson.
Oh, geez.
Hunter, I hope you're available tomorrow.
I think I am. We're going to be losing Jesse for a while, aren't we?
We'll have the update next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is our crew.
Abreu's going back and watching it sail. It's a grand slam. Oh, my goodness, Christian Yelich.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today.
Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh made an appearance on Wilde and Tausch Friday morning and made sure to clarify that despite all the changes in the world of college athletics, Wisconsin's non-revenue generating sports are here to stay.
I can't miss an opportunity to reiterate that while I can empathize with participants in Olympic sports around the uncertainty and the fear right now, because there are programs that are being eliminated around the country, that is not on the table for us, and it hasn't been from the start.
What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Pella has a product line for every budget.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Take your game to the next level with Vortex Golf. This employee-owned brand out of Wisconsin brings you premium rangefinders like the Blade, Blade Slope, and the Anarch, packed with features like image stabilization, pin spotter mode, and rock-solid accuracy. Backed by a legendary no-questions-asked VIP lifetime warranty and unmatched customer service, Vortex has you covered. Ready to upgrade your gear? Visit MapleHillGolf.com and search Vortex to see the full lineup. Vortex Golf, you can bet on it.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at UWHoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
This is our crew.
12 stolen bases on the year. There he goes. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Is right on the back. They got him. Oh, wow.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball. 100.5 ESPN.
Tempted to hit the breaking news sounder. What do you think, Hunter? Do you think this qualifies?
Yeah, for the show, I think it qualifies as some breaking news. I can get that going right now.
All right, let's hit it.
Oh, baby, now this is some breaking news.
It's breaking news. I'm not sure it's surprising news. From the Dane County Courthouse, I assume, is where this is coming from?
I would think so.
I will not be on the show tomorrow or Wednesday, and I am not allowed to say any more, is the text message from Jesse. And then, shortly thereafter, guys, I'm on the jury.
Of course he is. Like, he made it sound in his text messages to me starting last night when we found out that this was a possibility, that he was going to try and get out of this. He was going to try and throw the interview, do whatever he could to get out of it. Now I feel like he lied to me.
Did you? Did you believe him?
I'm dumb enough that I did, Jason. I thought for sure that Jesse would do the right thing for the station and for the team and throw the interview. I should have known better.
Well, you were wrong. I never believed he was going to throw the interview. I believed he wanted to do this, and congratulations. He got what he wanted. He is on a jury. He is legally bound not to tell us anything about the case. I'm very, very, very curious now. Because if we're being honest, Jesse's been known to annoy people from time to time. We all have.
Yep.
But I don't know if I want to be sequestered with him in a jury room. I'm not sure I'm on board with that. And by the way, don't most people want to be excused? Don't they want to avoid being on the jury?
Yeah, so then even if he tried to throw the interview, that means he's just that bad at it that he reverted the complete opposite way. Because I'm still going to try and have that faith in Jesse that he did try and throw it. And if he did, that means he's just that bad at it, which is awful because I feel like it can't be that hard to get out of jury duty.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could really get yourself in trouble, though, if you start saying stuff like, oh, I'm sure they're guilty. I believe in guilty until proven innocent. That's my philosophy. Like, I think you could get in trouble for saying that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean more like I feel like you can give some strong, like if you give some strong enough kind of political views that it's very clear, you just lean on one way or the other. And like you're very much this is what I believe in, this is my worldview, and I am on this side and I'm not a movable person. That I feel like that's the type of person they wouldn't want on a jury. Like, I feel like they want somebody that they can influence and mold to go the way that they would want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
okay.
I feel like I could do it. I feel like I could throw that.
You feel like you could get out of jury duty?
Yes.
And if you were given the choice, you would choose to try and get out of it as opposed to what Jesse clearly did, which was try to get on the jury and succeeded.
Yep.
Well, we thank Jesse for his civic duty. We wish him luck in his pursuit of truth, justice, and the American way. And congratulations, Hunter. I think you're working the show tomorrow.
That's good. I'm off on Wednesday, so it'll probably be Riley Yauk on Wednesday. But I'm excited to be back.
Well, I'll let you guys handle the scheduling. We do have an OTA practice that we also have to schedule around tomorrow as the Packers will be back on the field. So I'm sure you'll handle it as well as you handled today with me driving to the airport. All right, that's it for us today. We'll see how Tausch fares in the Pro-Am at the AmFam Championship, and we'll see how Jesse fares in the jury box. I can't believe I gotta know. I want to know these lawyers that were in favor of him being on the jury. That's it for us today. We'll do it again tomorrow without Jesse. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on the ESPN Wisconsin app.